What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs, doing a playoff recap for May 24th. So we're going to be talking about yesterday's games and doing the recap now. So there were two games that were on yesterday night. Both were blowouts, so this is going to be a pretty quick episode here. But the first game is that the Bucks blew out the Miami Heat 132-98. And as I predicted correctly, I said on yesterday's show that the Bucks would hit their threes in this game, which they did. They hit 22 of 53 attempts compared to only 5 threes the previous game. And they did it on both ends too of the floor and got off to a hot start, leading to an easy win, blowing out the Miami Heat and really making a big statement here to this team and just really saying, we're not afraid of you, Miami. We're a different team than we were last year, and we're going to take you guys down. So I'm pretty impressed with their ability to blow them out, and we hit our parlay yesterday that I gave you guys, which is pretty sweet. What's up, Basketball Inc.? See you in the chat there. And yeah, this has honestly been a really good series so far. It was ranked as my favorite series prior to starting this first round. It looks like it could end up being a lot shorter than I predicted, which was that the Bucks would win 6 games. And I think that they're proving that they're a significantly better team this season and that they're honestly a lot better with just the transition from trading for Drew Holiday and getting rid of Eric Bledsoe is really making a difference on both ends of the floor. We saw that in game 1 with Drew Holiday's game-saving block, and tonight he wasn't necessarily significant to their win, but just his presence on the floor is huge. And Bam and Jimmy Butler only combined for 26 points. And the only players that really came through for, the Milwaukee Bucks, and, they were a solid team, but I think the player that came through for the Miami Heat was Dedmon and Dragic were the only players off the bench who really contributed. For the Bucks, I think that Giannis looked good. He was attacking the paint, took advantage of his matchup against Ariza in some parts of this game. And I feel like we can tell that they're missing Jay Crowder in this series and that they're really they really needed him to help guard Giannis because he had 31, 13, 6 boards, 3 steals, and a block. He really dominated this game on all parts of the floor. Middleton had 17 points and only took 5 shots. Wasn't super aggressive in this game, but when he did play, he was getting his buckets. And the bench guys look good too. Bobby Portis was an addition this offseason who's paid dividends for them. And I think that Forbes has also been really good for them from what he's done for them on both ends of the floor and just more as like an isolation scorer for them and a guy who can hit open shots. And as someone saying in the chat, Drew Holiday has changed the Bucks. He's definitely been an integral addition to the team and has really been helping them to be able to both guard Jimmy Butler and contain him a little bit, but also being a tertiary scorer, ball handler, especially in the clutch when Giannis becomes a little not obsolete, but can be guarded easily by the wall, right, that the Raptors did to him last year. But I think the big thing in this series that I've noticed is the offensive rebounding. I don't know if Miami has the size to really match up against Giannis and, all the big guys in there with Lopez. Their roster is just humongous, and they're really eating them inside 21 offensive rebounds. And the Bucks were getting out in transition. They were running, and Miami was not stopping them. Their defense is clearly not as good as it's been in previous years. The question that I kind of want to throw out to you guys is, are you worried about the Miami Heat? One thing to note is that there is a team that went down 2-0 to the Milwaukee Bucks 2 years ago in the NBA playoffs in 2019, and that was the Toronto Raptors. So we've seen that they're able to choke it away, the Milwaukee Bucks are. And I think the difference this year, though, is that the Bucks this year are better than the previous year's Bucks, and the Miami Heat aren't as good as that Raptor squad that came back, and they didn't have a staple in Kawhi Leonard who could just turn it up when they needed him to. The not having Oladipo is big as well, but I don't know if he would be that big of a contributor for them. I know he's obviously a big name, but he hasn't been as good as he has in previous years, especially after his tons of injuries he's been dealing with. So I think this has been an interesting series, but the other game I want to talk about here is the Nuggets and Portland game. The Nuggets blew out the Blazers 128-109. Dame kept them alive in the first half here. He hit 8 threes in the first half, but really cooled off in the second. I felt that Jokic was really dominant inside, and Mike Malone made adjustments from game one. They just told him that we're guarding you one-on-one, so just eat him, and that's what Jokic did. He was just attacking Nurkic, attacking Cantor, finished with, I think, a ton of points in this game. He really dominated with 38 points and 5 assists, and he was scoring from everywhere on the court. But I think the big difference here is their contributions from the bench, with Millsap having 15 and Morris having 12. And their backcourt of Rivers and Campazzo, like I was talking about, needed to be a little bit better, and they ended up putting up 21 points on almost 50% shooting. So they're able to get a little bit more from them. And in conjunction with that, we can see that they were also containing the role guys of the Blazers too. It's been whoever's bench has been contributing more has been winning in this series. So with the bench struggling of Portland tonight, besides the big three guys who played really well, with Dame with 42, CJ with 21, and Powell played solid with 15 points as well, and wasn't very aggressive in this game, though. I don't think anyone else scored in double digits for them. And we know the Blazers aren't going to play good defense, so they need Melo to score more than 5 points and get more contributions from their complementary players overall. And the Nuggets shot over 60% in the first half as well, so they just were not giving them a lot offensively, because they just weren't giving it back defensively, right? The Blazers struggled there on that end, and I think that they held the Nuggets to 109 points in that first win. So they outplayed that bench unit, with Melo and Anthony Simons combining for 32 points, whereas they only scored 8 in this game and didn't even play a lot of minutes. They also didn't really take care of the ball, too. They had 21 turnovers. It was looking really sloppy, especially from CJ. He had 5 turnovers. Dame had 3, but he had 10 assists. And Covington didn't look good either in this game. Another message in the chat. Even with Murray injured, the Nuggets can be a really deep team. That is true. They do have a lot of guys who can contribute, but it's a little on and off, and I don't know if I trust their backcourt fully. Campazzo and MPJ had 5 steals in this game combined, and Morris had 2 and was plus 19 in this game. So, yeah, their depth really came through tonight and helped them get this win, whereas in previous games, it might not happen for them. But here we go. We're going to give you our pick for the day. We're 1-1 so far since starting this. Our pick today is pretty simple. We're basically taking 2 money lines here. We are taking the Brooklyn Nets to beat the Boston Celtics tonight, the money line at minus 450, and we're parlaying that with the LA Lakers to win this game at minus 135. So when you combine the two, you get plus 113 odds. And I'm taking these 2 teams for a specific reason, which is, number one, the Brooklyn Nets are ending this series in 4. I don't think there's any shot for Boston in this game too. And the LA Lakers need to win this game too as well. This is a pivotal game for them. And if they can put it together here, I think it'll be huge. So thank you guys for listening. That's it for me. I will be back tomorrow. And this week, I'm going to be doing some more draft stuff as well for the Toronto Raptors specifically. So doing more Raptors related content. So less of this NBA playoff stuff, even though I'm still going to have these daily chats, but more talking about the general Toronto Raptors Draft Express. So thank you guys for listening, and make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. Peace out.